And I came here in 1986 to run it for myself, and I signed the papers, and I was owner of the Red Barn Incorporated. People come in here for the experience, more so than I think anything else. And they love the fact that somebody's actually taking the time to listen. Maybe you learn in proportion to how much you listen and care. If you can find that balance between doing what you love that isn't really work, that might pay the bills, and can resonate with people and actually to some extent help people. Without my customers, I would be doing what I don't love, guaranteed.
Waterville City Council. If anybody would like an agenda, they are in the plastic sleeve on the back. And before we get started, I'll ask our chairman to please stand and lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up is community notes. Community notes is a time where if anybody has something they would like to say or speak about, tell us about that is not on the agenda or associated with something on the agenda, now would be the time to do it. You can please come up and let us know. Let's see Mr. Roy to the podium.
Hi, I'm Andy Roy. I'm here with American School Kids Supplies Incorporated. We're working on a fundraiser for the school kids in this area. First event will be a pie in the face of a city celebrity of Waterville. It'll entail a spaghetti dinner from 5 to 6:30, and then from 6:30 to 7:30, the pie in the face of a celebrity Waterville auction. And so far, right now, we have the volunteers is the mayor, Nick Isgrove. We have 2 state representatives, Thomas Longstaff and Colleen. We also have the council members, Ward 1, Wards 4, and Wards 5. And the community dance afterwards. I think we should have some fun times after all this budget stuff, and the kids will benefit from it. If it doesn't pass for the camera system, we'd like to donate that money towards that. If it does pass, then we'll donate it towards other things. We know the teachers in this area dig in their pockets often, and we'd like to see them not do that. We're also looking at grants in the future so we can somehow stop that from happening. Got copies here I can pass out. You just take one and pass it.
Andy, are you looking for more volunteers for the pie in the face?
I am looking for more volunteers.
All right, I think we got some people that haven't chimed in yet.
Exactly.
I nominate Chief Massey.
Are you volunteering, Councilor Tate?
I was opening it up for quality, but you didn't spike it.
I plan on getting in touch with LePage and see if he'd like to show up for this. I have asked Mike, I'm asking both the chiefs, anybody, Mr. Haley, to take a pie for the children for a benefit. Tickets, this will be happening September 2nd at the Elks Lodge. Tickets will be on sale and available at the store locations that Jeremy owns, because he's my business partner in this. You Broke It, the Play Factory, and Rex Automotive in Oakland. If you can't come to us, we will deliver the tickets. Just get a hold of us online. And we have a page on Facebook. It's American School Kids Supplies Incorporated. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Appreciate it.
Julian Payne, Ward 5, Nick Champagne. I'm here to announce today the disbandment of the People's Council. This means that next year there will be no pre-budget targeted mill rate requested from us. I'll speak out on issues. If I do, it will be as Julian Payne, a lone resident, not as part of a group, and I will endeavor to communicate any thoughts to my councillor as a first option. The People's Council consisted of 5 members, and for me it was the first foray into politics. We were not lawyers or individuals with PhDs, just a group of ordinary workaday residents. We ruffled a few feathers along the way, and in return got a bit tarred and feathered. When the establishment would rather you went away, that is your invitation to stay. sometimes labeled as divided, but that just means we have differing opinions from other people. Putting yourself out there is never easy. We worked for city managers, councilors, superintendents, school boards, special interest groups, and we stood tall throughout. We're just like you, susceptible to misrepresented comments and personal attacks. Our wives and children and friends all felt them. Last week I was called a libertarian. I know I'm not that, and I'm definitely not a vegetarian. We attended budget meetings and council meetings, started debates on conflict of interest. Council meetings and budget meetings were transformed into standing room only. Caucuses boasted numbers in the triple digits for the first time, and candidates had double-digit supporters. Multiple candidates vied for the same seat. We paid for several council meetings to be videotaped so residents could view the proceedings. This year, the city manager, mayor, and council have never worked so hard on a budget, and it shows. We were the voice of business owners fearing retribution and residents who felt uncomfortable speaking out at council meetings. We were advocates for the return of revenue sharing. It is not until residents refuse to make up the balance with mill rate hikes that it will ever return. Why would it? It was the People's Council who, and I'll leave that bit out about numbers. Anyway, it shouldn't have been us to work and get all the numbers to the residents. We were hoping elected officials did that, but there was a bit of misunderstanding, and I know that it was all honest and above board, and I'm just glad everyone has all the facts. So. And to all the educators and higher-ups who teach civic action and community involvement, will you remember the People's Council as an example, or will it make you feel a little uncomfortable when you encourage the future generation to do what we did? I quote a good friend that I met since joining the council who wasn't on the council, and it's a great quote. I honestly believe, he says, there's a little bit of the People's Council in all of us to some degree, that residents, taxpayers, free speech, justice, and active participation are our founding fathers' intention of molding an intricate democracy. I will not be speaking on the budget tonight until I fully understand the roles of school board and regular citizen, if I should be lucky enough to ever hit that seat. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else for community notes?
Hello, Phil Barfield, Ward 2. I just want to speak a little bit on about the last vote. Attending the vote, I really opened my eyes as far as, the need for their entire community to be really involved with their schools. Because I think the needs that were presented to City Council are needs that if I didn't attend City Council on a regular basis, I wouldn't have known about those needs. We get those letters in the mail with our kids who say, hey, we would like to receive some donations for pencils or, school supplies and things like that. But like the real needs, we don't really get to know about those unless they're presented to City Council during the City Council meeting. So my hope is that, the school board would implement some kind of, communication channel that would hopefully get the message directly, to the community if they have a need that needs to be met by the school and things like that. If something like that doesn't already exist, I think it would be a good tool for the school board to have to get those message out there. If anything else, just to inform, the community about the challenges that they're facing, so that people are aware and can come to help if need be. The reason I say that is because, when I came to the City Council meeting, after listening to the challenge that they have as far as the security system, which I believe is a legitimate need, by the way, I started asking myself some questions, how were the student behavior for the last 5 years or 2 years, how did this behavior were those behavior tolerable prior, but now they're not anymore, and did the school, so that the school at this time needed a security system, and they didn't need it 2 years ago or 5 years ago. Little questions like that. But, those are the things that will come to somebody's mind when something is trying to be put into the budget. But even though the need is something that is legitimate for the school. And I think that having that communication channel would help getting the message out there to the community so that, we can come to help when the need be. That said, I'm very encouraged by the response that I saw around the community. We had numerous individuals who took upon themselves to try to find alternative solutions for our schools and continue at this present time to work on such solutions. I truly believe that it is how we can continue to make our city great by engaging each and every single one of our neighborhood and community members to contribute towards the betterment of our city. We have exciting things happening and have much to look forward to. So more so, now we have a city council that has shown strong signs of cohesion and ability to work together to reach compromises, in order to advance our community. For that matter, I have no doubt that it will continue to do an excellent job in making the right decisions for our community and all the people that put them in those seats. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Anybody else for community notes?
If I could say one thing, I want to congratulate the South End Neighborhood Association for a fantastic festival. I saw some of you there tonight, and I want to congratulate everybody who worked so hard, all the volunteers, to make that possible. We had great showing from the police. We had the fire department represented. We had lots and lots of volunteers and great turnout, so thanks, everybody. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not remind you, on behalf of everyone downtown and the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce, that the Taste of Waterville is tomorrow, and I hope to all see you there as well.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I just forgot. As far as community engagement, I'm part of KV Connect, which is a young professional group in Waterville. We do fundraising for nonprofits in town, and we try to showcase different businesses as well. So this August 8th, we will be at the golf club right in Waterville, and we have an event there that will benefit the Family Violence Project. So we really encourage anybody here, to join us and try to raise some funds to support our nonprofit, and also, to give back, so we can give back to the community and also support our businesses. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Jacobs, Ward 4, and I don't have my library hat on this evening. I was contacted by Jim Clare and Kevin Matson regarding the Seton property. They're going to be doing an update in the lobby of the building on the 13th, which is next Sunday at 5 p.m., and talk about what their plans are and how their financing is getting organized. So everyone is invited to come hear about it. Looks like they're moving forward.
Thank you. Yes.
Is there anyone on the council that's going to recuse themselves from any tonight's votes?
No. That's a nice one.
We will move on from community notes to approval of the consent agenda. Could I get a motion for the approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Under unfinished business, Order 106, 2017.
Move to read by title only.
Second. All in favor?
An order providing for appropriation of municipal and school operating budgets for the period of July 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018.
Move to adopt.
Second. Great, and I'm actually happy to say we will actually be, my understanding is moving an amended version from last week. This amended version, if you don't all have a copy of the changes, after last week's meeting, the council, Mike, and our finance director were able to get back to work. We were able to recognize some revenues. There were some unspent funds and unclaimed funds in downtown TIF. There were also significant savings in things like the fire department boiler came in under quote. We had a savings on our electricity projections. And through that, the amount in total that we were able to come up with was $77,000. What I believe is going to be amended tonight will be be one change, which is to add a $33,000 expense to the city side to pay for a second police cruiser. If anyone was here last week, you know Colby College actually stepped up to the plate and offered to buy one of our cruisers, and I know that they're in pretty rough shape, and I know the chief's happy to hear this news. So there'll be a second police cruiser, and the remainder of that funds will actually be allocated to the schools. And I believe that is enough money to pay for one ed tech and for the security camera system. And none of this affects the bottom line of what we proposed last week. The mill increase is still projected to be 0.53. So with that said, first I'll move.
Point of clarification, the figures we received were 32, not 33,000 for the police cruiser, is that?
I guess I was off 1,000.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that that was. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to move the amended version of the budget, including the changes for the police cruiser and the school.
Second.
Okay, so now we'll open this up first for discussion on the council, and then we will certainly make sure that anybody that's here and has something they would like to comment on the sheet. No. Michael.
A copy of all the changes are on the table, so if anyone wants to take a look at what those changes are, there are two sheets there. The one that looks like this summarizes the changes, and then there's a summary page that looks like that.
Great. Is there any discussion with the council?
I would just like to reiterate one more time that this is no increase. It remains at 0.53, even with these changes.
Right. Yes, Council.
I just want to personally commend all the people in play, including administration, Mike, the mayor, this whole body, this council. I think this all started in the right direction when, under the suggestion of the mayor, that we, instead of going through the finance committee, doing things the old way, we tried something to do and went a new way, and that is to be all-inclusive with all of the councils having a say, having many workshops under Mike Roy, and with the diligent work that we were all able to come up with, suggestions, wish lists, priorities, all of those things came into play from everybody's mindset here. And to say that we last week had unanimous vote on this council, and all my time on this council, I have not seen that until that last week. I was so proud to see that we can all reach across the aisle, and we can all come to agreement, and we can all be civil, and we can all be on the same wavelength when it comes to taking care of our public school system and taking care of the fixed income retiree and senior citizen on every street in this city by giving them a tax decrease at the same time. It's just totally amazing to me that we have done a 180-degree turn, and I'm very proud to be represented on this council with all of you fellow councils.
Thank you. I just wanted to take the time because Paula wasn't here last week, and there's two real unsung heroes in this whole budget process. One of them is Paula, who is the finance director for the school, and the other is Heather Rowden, who couldn't be here tonight, who had the crazy audacity to take on the job of finance director this year after Chuck left in what was probably the most challenging year, I'm sure in Mike's memory, in trying to work out a budget, and the hours that these two individuals we know put into working the numbers and finding the savings and doing this. They don't get all the credit, but they should. They do the majority of the really hard detail work so the rest of us can come and try to move things around on the chessboard. So Paula, thank you, and Heather's not here, but I want to thank Heather too. Any other discussion among the council? Okay, we will open it up to the public. We will ask you if you have something to say, come up, tell us who you are, where you live, and just try to keep it within several minutes.
Susan Reiser, School Board, Ward 2. There was a little, just want to say there's a little bit of an email around with the school board, and it seemed that they were pretty pleased with how things had all worked out. But in this whole sort of everyone getting along and working together, I would like to at least make sure that we make note of the fact that there were quite a few very harsh words from you, Mr. Mayor, last week directed at the school board, and I think this might be a nice opportunity for you to retract those words or to apologize for them. Thank you.
I do not. We'll move to a vote. Can I get a roll call, please?
Counselor Sol?
Yes.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Lessing?
Yes.
Counselor Mayu?
Yes.
Counselor Champagne?
Yes.
Counselor Tate?
Yes.
Counselor DuPont?
Yes.
Vote is 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
And I'm breaking Robert's rules as well.
Next is Order 117-2017.
Move to read by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
An order providing for a sale of city property, 19 Summer Street.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Counselor Sol?
No.
Counselor White?
Yes.
Counselor Lessing?
Yes.
Counselor Mayu?
Yes.
Counselor Champagne?
Yes.
Counselor Tate?
Yes.
Counselor DuPont?
Yes.
Vote is 6 in favor, 1 opposed.
We'll move on to new business, Resolution 120-2017.
A resolution providing for repair of library roof. Be it resolved by Waterville City Council acting as municipal officers, that an amount not to exceed $19,500 be appropriated from the city's capital improvement reserve fund for the purpose of repairing the roof above the main entrance to the Waterville Public Library. Be it further resolved to waive the bidding requirement of the city's purchasing ordinance as provided in Article 5, subsection B.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I just had a quick question.
Sure.
Why are we waiving the bidding requirement of the city's purchasing ordinance? I was just curious. Were we doing similar work elsewhere that we can take those bid prices for roof replacement elsewhere in the city and then just taking those unit prices and moving it to the library? Bidding process, you said?
Bidding process for roof repair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Waiving the.
Why are we waiving it?
Why are we waiving it?
Well, this company's already done work on the roof, so that's why we wanted them to come back and continue with the repair. The work they did is not related to the leak that we had, but they're a company that we're familiar with. They've been up on the roof doing other things. So, yes, I mean, we could bid it out to everyone and anyone, but...
You know me, I mean, I've already explained my displeasure with some of the bidding practices that we've followed so far. I mean, there's been, not necessarily with you, Mike, but, some of the actions of the council. I'm just concerned that by waiving the requirements here and not doing it here, but doing it here and not here, that it's, I just wanted to point it out that I didn't know why it was like that, and it seems like we kind of pick and choose some products that we do that on and not others, but there was a good reason for it.
It's an important question, and I have absolutely no problem with you asking it, because we want to make sure that when the city does contract out work, that people feel like they have equal opportunity to get it. It's just with the history that this company had, that particular roof, we're recommending waiving the bid. But I understand your question. I have no problem with that.
I would like to commend Cindy Jacobs as the head of the library board for all of her tireless work in favor of the library, and in particular in the way that I think Sarah Sugden as director and Cindy Jacobs as director of the Board of Trustees have really started to look very proactively and towards the future about what will be needed to sustain the library and expand their offerings. And so I think I'm fully supportive of this as something that will prevent the need for additional stopgap repairs in the future.
Other discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
I too support this because of the fact, like Winifred had said, the tireless work of the staff, Susan Sugden, Cindy Jacobs, having personal discussions with Cindy. Her vision for where the library is definitely, I feel like it's a definite jewel to the city and an asset in so many different ways. This is a city building. We have an obligation to take care of the roof. And certainly the good work that goes underneath that roof on a daily basis and a weekly basis is just unprecedented. So I definitely support this, and I think it's justified in moving ahead with this.
Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Thank you.
There's only one item on the manager's report, and that is the ethics ordinance. The council, a month or two ago, had picked August 8th as a date for us to start talking about the ordinance, the ethics ordinance. I'd like to recommend that we do a delay on that. We have to get to it eventually. The charter says we have to. But I think it would be good to take a break. We finally get the budget done, and if we could return to the ethics ordinance in September, or I leave it up to you as to when you want to do it. Otherwise, we are scheduled to meet next Tuesday night, August 8th.
Time for thoughtful discussion. Good idea.
It gets a little hot in August. I don't know.
What's the second meeting date?
Maybe until the second meeting in September,
Move to
whatever that
table it to
date-
the second meeting in September.
Second.
whatever the date is.
Whatever the date is, the second meeting.
Meeting, or, I'm sorry.
The second council meeting.
Second meeting, second
But
council.
wasn't our intention to have this discussion in between council meetings so that we could spend more time on it?
That's a good question. Thank you. Right, wait. Right, because next Tuesday is not a regular meeting.
Yes.
So we did consciously decide that not to have it at a regular meeting. So either we can have it prior to your regular meeting in September, or you could pick a different Tuesday in September. I don't know if we need more than half an hour initially. So we could always meet at 6:30 before the regular 7 o'clock meeting, or we could do it on a separate night.
It's probably not going to be just one night, but that could be a good overview.
Yeah.
And then that could move into a greater discussion that people digest what they've heard.
6:30 second meeting in September, the first.
Is that enough time?
Start with that, a 6:30 meeting?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Good. Okay, thank you.
Motion to
We'll do